Backgammon was released for the Atari 2600 in 1979. Simply put, it's backgammon. It was actually my father's favorite board game, but we didn't play it very often. Every time we did play, I needed a refresher, which was never that bad because it's a pretty simple game, which makes it a good fit for an Atari 2600 entry. Monopoly on the 2600 would be a goddamn nightmare. Your objective is to drain all of your pieces off the board by landing them on specific spaces, or points as they're called. And when the number on the dice roll corresponds to those pieces, they can come off the board. You can also take your opponent's pieces and send them to the center, or bar, and they have to roll their way back into play and can't move any other pieces until they get out. So ultimately, the visuals of the game don't matter all that much, so long as you know what everything represents, and that it's not an eyesore. Thankfully, the points are well rendered. They could have very easily been more plain and blocky looking, which would have been more problematic than you might think, and the fact that they have a variety of colors makes it easy to identify the areas. More importantly, the control is fluid because the paddle controller lets you navigate a lot smoother than the joystick would have. Game variations include 1 or 2 player mode, the use of a doubling cube, which gives you the option of raising the stakes, although there doesn't seem to be any fixed goal of how much money you're supposed to reach to win. It's more like an arbitrary number that just sits there. And the last option is an alternate mode called AC-Doocy, which starts all pieces in the center bar. You can also set up the pieces in any position you want by switching the left difficulty switch to B, so you can practice tactics in a given situation, or if you want to just fuck around. At the end of the day, it's backgammon, and whether or not you enjoy this version of it hinges entirely on whether or not you like to play the board game in general. You're not getting any bells and whistles or bonus modes unless you count AC-Doocy, which is a standard alternate version of backgammon to begin with. Bottom line is, what you see is what you get, but what you do get is a pretty good version of the board game, especially considering it was made in 1979.